Hello, and welcome to Kia's Two Cents, where I, Kia, give you my 2 cents on TV, film, pretty much whatever I want. And today, as you can see in the title, I am giving you my ranking of Grey's Anatomy characters. So I remember watching all of the episodes of Grey's Anatomy after season 10 premiered, and I have not stopped ever since. I know, but I haven't. Okay, it is what it is. But the time has come for me to rank my characters. How I did it was someone randomly, like years ago, posted a link to a sorter where you had two characters put up against each other and you had to pick your favorite. And according to what you said there, they gave you a ranking. They did have the option for I like both and I don't have an opinion. I just try to use them not often to make this as a clean of a ranking as possible. Also, I ended up using two of those sorters because of the discrepancies in characters, and one had characters that I didn't care to sort and one did have characters that weren't on the other one. I did them both. I looked at both lists, deleted the people that I wanted to delete, added the people I wanted to add, and thus the ranking of the 35 characters that I have now. That is the introduction to that. I will put the links to those in the description so you can make your own list, because this is my list and my opinion and you have yours, and that's that. There's no right or wrong. It's just difference of opinion, and these are characters on television show. So if my list looks different from yours, which I am 1000% sure it probably will, it's okay. It's okay. Alright, let's get into this list. Again, it is just 35 characters, and I'm going to start off with my bottom 5. Coming in at 35 and 34, these two are kind of interchangeable. 35 is Owen Hunt, the calm down and get straight man himself, and 34 is Preston Burke. I think everyone would agree on me with those. I feel like Owen's only redeeming quality is that he saved Christina from her icicle, and Burke's only redeeming quality is that he gave Christina a hospital for her to live out her wildest dreams and never have to work with him again. And that's it. And that's all I will say about the two of them. At 33 is Thatcher Grey, and 32 is Ellis Grey. And I also think that we are in agreement with that. Meredith's parents were not the greatest people. At number 31, we have Perfect Penny. Perfect Penny. And I think she's not last because eventually we know that it wasn't really her fault that Derek died. Should she have spoken up? Yes, but we understand the complexities and the nuance of that whole situation. And coming in at number 30, where I feel like my unpopular opinions will start and y'all will start to look at me sideways. At number 30 is Derek Shepherd. Listen, he sucks. I do not like him, and the more I rewatched the show, the less I liked him. I think that his relationship with Meredith was toxic, and I think the show wanted us to think that too, because once he died, Meredith started thriving. And then when you look at it, he thrived because of her. Cue the brain tumor trial that only ended up being successful because of Meredith and her not following the rules. But it is what it is. I think season 6 is when I hate him the most. Him as Chief and everything he did to become Chief and everything he did to Richard, did not like. Let's move on. Okay, now moving on to numbers 29 to 21. At 29 is George O'Malley. And I feel like y'all would agree with me on this. He was like the good guy who wasn't really a good guy. Look at Callie, Izzy, Meredith, all of that stuff. So yeah, I feel like y'all understand me on that. On 28, Tom Karasik. Now, 99% of the time I do not like him. I do not like his attitude. I do not like his personality. There is that 1% where I'm like, okay, Tom, but that's nothing compared to the 99% that I don't like him. So number 28 it is. And at 27, we have Richard Webber, the surrogate father of Meredith Grey that kind of like was terrible, but also I kind of like him. He's like the oracle of the show. So yeah. At 26 is the wife whom he cheated on, Adele Webber, who didn't really do anything wrong in the series. She was just his wife who got cheated on and then got Alzheimer's and then died. At number 25, we have Catherine Avery. And I feel like a good chunk of why I like Catherine is because she is played by the oh so wonderful Debbie Allen. And Debbie Allen does a fantastic job with her. Also, when she was introduced, I liked her. It wasn't until fairly recently that she started being a thorn in my side and doing things that I did not like. So, Catherine Webber at number 25. And at number 24 is Izzy Stevens. I don't know if this is low for some people, but that's where she is for me. I am one of maybe a small amount, I don't know, of people who in the whole Alex kids situation, him leaving Joe, am more upset at her than I am at him, because she didn't tell him any of this, and she let him go, what was it, 5 years without knowing that he had any kids, and knowing his background, which she does, I think that he would have wanted to be there and be a father, and that's why he left, and she robbed him of that for 5 years, and that will forever piss me off. At number 23, which I know is gonna shock a lot of y'all, is Leah Murphy. And the thing is I know that she was annoying to her fellow residents and annoying to a lot of viewers, but I didn't dislike her as much as other people. And I feel kind of bad because they just kind of disappeared her and we never heard from her again. And I did like her when she came back after Richard fired her. She came back and she was working with Maggie. I did like her. So yeah, that's where she is. And right above her, sitting at 22, is Arizona Robbins. And she's another one who I liked in the beginning, and then as time went on, I did not like. And Arizona versus Callie, I'm always rooting for Callie. I think that Arizona jumped the gun by getting a lawyer for the custody trial. I don't think it needed to go that far at all. All she needed to do was let Callie get her excitement out and then let them have a real, full conversation about it where they can come to an agreement. But she didn't do that. She went straight to a lawyer. And also with Callie, I feel like Arizona never liked Sloan. She never liked the fact that Callie was with Sloan. She never liked the fact that Callie had Sloan's baby. And I think the only reason why she went along with it was because she wanted to be with Callie, and that was it. And that upsets me. My numbers got a little discombobulated, so forgive me, but we're moving into my top 20 of this list, and at number 20 is Teddy Altman. Now, for so long, I've always said to myself, I like Teddy, but I don't like Teddy and Owen, so I need her to be free from that man for me to actually start liking her again, but 20 seems like a really good spot for her, so that's where she is. At number 19 is Link, who I really did not like until recently. Like, especially when he was with Amelia and that whole engagement thing. Like, dude, no. But now he's with Joe and he's cool. And I am filming this before the season begins, so we don't actually know if he's alive or not. Either way, he's still number 19. And sitting at 18, we have Winston, who I don't have much to say about. I don't think he's done anything to upset me, really. But he's just there, and I don't know what they're doing with him, because it looks like he might start to be in a relationship with an intern. I don't know how I feel about that, but it is what it is. At number 17 is our titular character, Meredith Grey. And you know, I'm one of those people who a lot of the times I do not like the main characters all that much, and while I root for Meredith at times, there are times when I do not. And so I understand why I have her at 17. And I feel like some of y'all would agree. Like, she's not the best, but she's still up there. At number 16 is Levi Schmidt. I wish we got to see more of him. I wish they gave him more, but I'm glad with what we got. His character development was pretty great when you look at it, from being called Glasses to now actually being called by his name. It's great. At 15, we have Andrew DeLuca, and I will never forgive this show for how dirty they did him. He was right the entire time, and then they made everyone just blame it on mental illness, and then when they realize he was right, he dies. Like, come on now. That's not cool at all. And at number 14, we have the April Kepner, who, again, did not like in the beginning. The episode when she gets fired for the first time is one of my favorite episodes. Now, granted, it's not because she got fired, it's because of the storytelling that I really liked how they did that episode, but I wasn't mad when she left. She was a little mousy character, very much like season 1 George. But then, the trauma training happened, and she grew on me, and they took their boards, and she grew on me even more. And I think when she exited the show, I was like, I know people were upset when she left and was married to Matthew, but I wasn't. I was like, this is a good door to close. This is a good spot to close the door. Not a huge fan of what they did after that, but it is what it is. Let's move on. At 13, we have the Mark Sloan, the creator of the Plastics Posse, and we're not going to talk about season 8 finale. At 12, we have the second member of the Plastics Posse, Jackson Avery. Jackson was cool. I do think that he was the common denominator in all of his failed relationships, but he was pretty cool. 12 was a good spot for him. And at 11 is someone who he wanted to be in the Plastics Posse, Benjamin Warren, the husband of Miranda Bailey, who I know people get upset because he hops, skips, and jumps around jobs like it is his job, and that whole surgery that he had in the hallway, and him liking to run into danger. But he's a good guy. He's one of probably the best guys on this show. And then, Station 19 and all the stuff that happened, and him agreeing to take Prue and fighting to keep her and standing up for his friend who passed away. He's a good guy. And now we are moving into our top 10 with the bottom 5. Starting at number 10 is Lexi Gray. And who doesn't like Lexi? I mean, overall, I think she was pretty great. And again, we will not talk about the season 8 finale. At number 9, we have Alex Karev, who, again, had one of the best character developments on the show. I don't think that it was ruined. I actually think it made sense for him to leave Joe and go be a dad. But that's my unpopular opinion, and we can talk about that at another time. Moving on. This is Editing Kia entering the chat. Somehow I skipped who was number 8. At number 8, we have Joe Wilson, who interestingly enough is someone that I did not like when she was introduced. And a lot of that has to do with her relationship with Stephanie. But as time moved on and the character developed, I started to like her. So at number 8, we have the Joe Wilson. To number 7, we have Addison Montgomery. And yes, I am including some private practice stuff in there because that has to do with the whole of her character. And I like how she pops in and out every now and again. She's high key the reason why I kept watching this show, because of her appearance in that finale. I was like, yo, who is this woman with this fur coat and this red hair? And Derek did her dirty, and she didn't deserve any of it. And I'm glad that she thrived after they got a divorce. And at number 6 is Stephanie Edwards. I really liked her. I loved her with Amelia. It makes me a little sad that she left the show. I get it. But also, if they ever want to bring her back, I wouldn't be mad at that at all. Even if it's just for 1, 2, 3 episodes, I'd just be cool to see her, especially because Joe is still there. See them reunite, see what she's got going on. She can help, maybe do a surgery or help with research or something, and then peace out. That's cool. And now my top 5. I know y'all are trying to figure it out through process of elimination, but here we go. At number 5, we have the Amelia Shepherd. And again, yes, I am including her private practice stuff because it is freaking fantastic. Obviously on this list she is better than her brother Derek, and I will 1000% stand 10 toes down in that she is way better than Derek. And I think she might be a better surgeon too. But yeah, Amelia is true and dear to my heart. And Katarina plays her so unbelievably well, and I don't think that she has won any awards for that, and she should have many, and that frustrates me. At number 4, we have Callie Torres. Callie, I think that she might have been my first favorite character on the show. I remember when she was introduced, and I just like, the scene of her dancing in her underwear in the basement. How do you not love that? Again, we'll always root for her. And guess what? I like the musical episode, and y'all can come for me. But if you're gonna get Sara Ramirez to sing, you're doing something right. And now, top three. At number 3, the one and only Miranda Bailey. She's got 5 roles. Alright? Actually, scratch what I said just a little bit ago. She might have actually been my favorite character. And I think her listing out her roles is what locked me in. Like, she just walks around with all of that authority and respect. And it's amazing. And to see her journey from there, getting the flashbacks to when she was an intern, and then seeing her become chief, and then seeing her get a Harper Avery, or I think they changed it to Catherine Fox Award at that point. Absolutely fantastic. And I know a lot of people get frustrated with her, especially some of the stuff that happened with Meredith and that insurance fraud debacle, but I was actually on the side of Bailey during that. So another unpopular opinion for another time. Coming in at number 2, I'm sure this is a very unpopular opinion to a lot of y'all, but at number 2, it is Maggie Pierce. And I do have to say this. One, I do not think that they created this character to replace Christina and Lexi. It makes sense to me that Ellis and Richard would have had a child out there with them doing what they were doing as long as they were doing it. And honestly, when she was first on the show in those first seasons and I was live tweeting, I used to tweet like at least once an episode that I love Maggie Pierce. So it makes sense that she is number 2 on this list for me. And coming in at number 1 is the one, the only, the fantastic Cristina Yang. Of course, how do you not love Yang? I know a lot of people think that she's a robot and that she's cold and she doesn't care and she's rude and she's mean. I do not. Honestly, I think she cares a whole lot. Sometimes, maybe even more than a lot of the other characters. People like to put her up against Izzy, like, oh, Izzy had such great bedside manner and Cristina didn't. Okay, whatever. I still think that she was not cold and that she was not mean. She was just very honest and didn't care to sugarcoat things and told things to people straight up and said what they needed to hear and not what they wanted to hear, which is what a lot of the other people did. So Cristina is my number 1, and I also have to appreciate the show for giving us Cristina as someone who is a woman who did not want to have kids, and it wasn't because she hated kids. It wasn't because something traumatic happened to her or that her parents were awful and she didn't want to be like them or anything like that. She didn't want to have kids. She knew that about herself, and she stood 10 toes down in it. And I will always appreciate a character like this, especially when they don't make her change her mind, because they do that a lot. And I do not like it. It's frustrating. But they didn't do that here. And again, I am so very grateful and appreciative of that. Just as a woman, to see another woman who doesn't want to have kids. I mean, at one point, like when I was really starting to watch the show, I didn't know if I wanted to have kids. So to see Cristina was great. To be like, okay, it's not an obligation as a woman. Has my mind changed? Yes. Could it have? Absolutely not. And that's fine. And I have to thank Cristina Yang for that. So that's that. And so there you have it, my friends, my ranking of Grey's Anatomy characters. I know my numbers got a little screwed up and I think it's 34 instead of 35, but with the two lists and combining, things got weird, and I am an imperfect human. So there's that. Again, if my list is not like your list, it's fine. I will put the links down so you can create your own and you can share those in the comments. Here's the thing though, we're going to be nice when we're sharing things in the comments. We're not going to be mean, we're not going to be rude, because if you are, I'm going to really enjoy blocking you, because that's the thing that I like to do when people act up in my comments. So be civil or be blocked. It's a phrase I like to say. I'm looking forward to reading your rankings and seeing where we may match up, where we may differ, all of that fun stuff. And until then, I'll see y'all later. Wait, not bye, because if this is your first time seeing a video of me, if you enjoyed it, go to my page, watch some other stuff. If you enjoy it, subscribe. This is a cool place where we like to hang out and do fun stuff, and you are totally welcome unless you're a rude person in the comments and I block you. Alright, now I am actually saying goodbye. No, I'm not. If you go on my page and you see the shows that I talk about and you find any other sorters or any things where I can do rankings like this, or you want me to do rankings like this, let me know. Suggest the show. If there are no sorters out there, I can just do it, you know, especially if the show only has like 5 or 6 main characters. Like, I can like rank the Pretty Little Liars. Like, that's cool. I can rank the characters of Living Single. I can do that. There's like 5 or 6 of them. But if it's a show like Degrassi that has 1,000,001 characters like Grey's Anatomy, I'm more so looking for a sorter. So you can link those below if you find them. Alright, okay. This time I am saying goodbye and I mean it. Goodbye.